Armed. Boom. Hey, yo. Okay, we're
check.
Let me see right here. I'm gonna scoot it over just a little bit so I can see. Oh, it's summer. Summertime is here. Oh, yes. Alright, I'm gonna go with that, bro.
Summertime is here. Did this used to be your bedroom or something? It's got good sound.
My grandpa died, bro. So I was in here and then he died. He didn't die in that room or nothing like that, but
he passed away.
Yeah, and I was always, even after we moved him out to like a nursing home type thing, I was still sleeping in here, but then that's when I started doing the podcast. That's when I started.
I need some room.
Yeah, and then it was just really hard to think about. Like there was a fucking queen size bed in here, and then trying to work. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just
too much shit in the same spot.
Yeah.
Eventually, you probably get so big you have to have a studio to do it in. That would be cool.
That's the idea. I mean,
get to a place where you can just go there like it's your. Not like a job.
If I stayed here for another year, I wouldn't mind making this a little bit more of a studio. I mean, there's things I could do. I just haven't done it because I don't know where I'm going to be here within the year or whatever.
Oh yeah, you got a life. You're young, so you're going to move out on your own.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's going to happen here soon. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Yep.
I didn't like that one. Harmon Warhol bringing another episode of the Harmon Warhol Show, and today I have a special guest, one that can prove to you if you are persistent and bring me free beer, you can get on this show.
Nothing better than free beer.
Not only do I have a rock star, I would say maybe even a historian of Stockton, maybe even music. What's a rancher who takes care of horses?
I guess it'd be a rancher or a farm, or what do you call it? A ranch hand.
Ranch hand, and then a rock star and a father as well, right?
Yes, and I got hella kids.
Ernie
Mancuso.
What's good? What's up,
bro? How you been?
What's poppin', bro?
Only met that one time, but I was trying to, through the intro web, trying to get at you and see what was up, and that was a good vibe when we did meet at that art show there.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Now to start because we met at a show, similar people we met. The same thing of how I was introduced to you was from Aaron. He's done music videos. He's my Black Bandana video. He's also He's done a music video for you as well.
Yeah. For Aquanana, he did the song. What the hell? It was about guns. I'll think of it in a second, but go on.
Was it true that halfway while you guys were filming that music video, you shaved your beard?
I did, because I had like a full beard at the start of the shooting, shaved it, and then they were like, well, you shaved your beard, and I was like, fuck it, they'll still get the story. So everybody still got the story, and everybody thinks like I committed suicide or something at the end, because that pause and that shot, it spooks people at the end, and that's crazy.
I killed myself in a music video.
Yeah, see? You did?
Why do artists always want to kill themselves in music videos?
Because then you're still alive, and it's poetic, and you still get it across.
Is it poetic or just mean to people with depression?
It's fucked up. We put a disclaimer, though. We put a disclaimer on it.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I did I actually did a fake suicide. At the end of mine, I was making a Valentine's music video about like a possessive boyfriend type thing, and then when the girl comes back home for Valentine's Day, the rose petals led to the bathroom where she saw me slice my wrist or whatever.
Oh, fuck.
I had like the chocolate syrup, but it wasn't chocolate, it was red, the red one, and with a knife.
I used that in a video before.
Yeah, and then she like cried and was just like, what the fuck? Oh, no. And at the very like last 2 seconds, you see that I'm kidding and was just like saying like, bitch, this is what I gotta do to fucking make you feel something, Doug.
Yeah, but nowadays you gotta put a disclaimer. We put one, so it's on there. You know what I mean? But it's a good part of the video because we were talking about gun violence.
Yeah, people felt a certain way about it. I didn't understand how much that music video, and we could get into yours after too, because I just watched it again for the second time. It was just funny on like the feelings I was able to invoke, and also the memories I did with people. Because I didn't think too much of it. I thought it was artistic and fun.
Yeah, you just let it go after.
Yeah, I was just like I didn't think it was gonna. I think like people would think that, but how strongly they felt so much to come out and reach out to me and really tell me how they felt about it was just like so surprising to me. And that's what I was saying. So what about your music? What kind of response did you get at yours?
Out of that song was it shocks them at the end on that part, and it's a catchy little tune. I'm trying to think of the name of the fucking song, and it's so simple, and I don't want to sit here like for half an hour and go, duh.
I would look at for it.
So anyway, it's about gun violence in America, and it's not pro or con. It's a partisan fucking song about gun violence and what we're gonna do as a society to address it and actually. You know, I'm pro-gun. I like guns. I'm hunted all my life. Grew up in Linden and Waterloo out there and in Stockton. And all where you're living right here was all, farmland.
Yeah, but right across the street, strawberry fields, bro. Yes. I show my homies back from like the Midwest or who don't live around in this area, and I'm like, bro, it's farmland.
It's rural. Yeah, it's rural. And this stretch right here was riparian, so it was wild. So dudes hunted this. I grew up and knew dudes that hunted this for years, right in this stretch, right where you were living. And
how old are you again?
I'm 50. 50 years old. 1971.
I would like how you said, I'm 50. I'm gonna let you know, buddy. Yeah. I'm 50.
Well, sometimes it comes out super like. Happy, like I'm 50, motherfucker, and then sometimes I say, I'm 50. But I feel like everybody says, I feel like I'm fucking 25. I'm in good shape. I got a beer belly, but I mean that's because there's beer in it. Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel good mentally, physically, in my soul, everything. I went through a lot, like everybody went through a lot in the last couple of years here, but I went through a breakup at the same time, and I have a 4-year-old child in that relationship, so. There's been a lot of angst, a lot of anger, a lot of turmoil in my soul, but I've been able to, through Krishna and breathing practices and...
through what?
Hare Krishna.
What's that?
It's an Eastern philosophy that I learned when I was a little kid. My dad was into it. He did yoga before all these motherfuckers were doing yoga. He was all buffed out, and he had like a boxer's regime, but part of it was yoga for stretching, and he'd stand on his head for hours. He used to trip us out. He'd make a little diamond with his hands, get up, and stand on his fucking head for hours.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about,
So that was part of Hinduism and Eastern philosophies, and he would teach us all this stuff, and, it goes in one ear and out the other when you're a little kid. And then what was funny, though, is once I got to high school, about I'd say my sophomore, maybe junior year in Linden High School out here in the sticks, in the east side, that's all farmland. I was presented a tape by this dude named Alan Clark, the only punk rocker at Linden at that time. He had a fucking mohawk, the fucking ripped up jeans.
So you're a straight up Linden boy then.
Yeah, but I wasn't like a farm kid because I came from the west side of Stockton, so every ethnic race and all the shit that was going on there, and then boom, we were out in fucking the sticks. But what I was getting at is he handed me a tape of Cro-Mags from New York City hardcore, and they were Krishnas. They had the Krishna knots on the back of their head. There's a name for that, but I can't. And they were tattooed foot to neck, you know what I mean? And they were playing hardcore and singing about Eastern philosophies and the street, and I was like, wow. And then, usually you rebel against your father and shit like that, but I didn't. I was like, I dig this shit. And when I take acid, I would see that Hare Krishna type shit. So getting back to what I was saying, the breathing techniques, and then that's what it really is, meditation. Like David Lynch has a book about it. And it's true, like that REM sleep period, or when you're in meditation, it's kind of like REM sleep and daydreaming. And when that happens, you can pull big fish instead of what your ideas, the little fish on the top of the water. You could go deep and fish for the big ideas and make those happen.
And expand on them.
That's how come I keep going. Like, I'm a little kid at heart, so I trip on comic books, I trip on art, I paint and draw every fucking day. I'm always constantly thinking of films and writing them down, my ideas, because one day I'm gonna write all these fucking screenplays that are in my head. You know what I mean? And trying to make films with my music. I can't stop writing music. I can't stop. I just.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you right now, feeling like I'm looking in the mirror in the future, and I don't know if I'm happy or scared. But
wow. Well, I don't got $1 million, but what I do got is 1 million badass.
No, but the thing
is,
it's more of a compliment to to you is what I'm saying is because I see so much of like myself. I'm like, damn, because the same thing with my dad in different aspects. Because me and him are not alike in those type of sense. Like in what we're into, our interests are very different. Yeah. But the way we approach life and I'm his son. I had the same kind of.
You got genes, just like my dad.
So a lot of times as as we grow up, I'm like, damn, there's certain things you're gonna still hold on to in your personality. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying with me sometimes when I'm right here, I'm 30, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, oh, damn, like, fuck, am I really going to keep thinking this way or do this?
It don't stop.
You get what I'm saying? Like the same thing with like music and podcasts.
It doesn't stop.
And I'm like, that's so funny because like.
It made for some and I think that's sad.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, yeah, me and my homies talk about it all the time. It's just like, bro, I would do this whether, I am.
You have to.
Whether I'm going to fucking make money off it or not, I'm going to be doing this forever. Like
you should never think about it money-wise.
Yeah,
because if the money comes, that's awesome.
That's the icing on the cake. Like now, I work towards that to make it easier to create. Like we talk about that.
You could. There's a fine balance.
It's a fine line. It's not so much on. That's what I'm saying. The money for me, really, if on anything, on just creating like.
It's to create more.
It's just to create more, really. Just to get those bigger
comfortable.
Get those bigger ideas out.
Yep,
like
exactly.
I mean, like how you said, building a bigger studio, having more cameras, having more editing.
And a crew and like. But you got to have like-minded people that are into the same shit.
Oh, that's why no one's here, bro. There's been a couple people who asked, and I just don't believe in them. Like, you know what I mean?
They'll come eventually. They'll come. Just how I got this new band, Brumby Road. Yeah. When I was younger, in my 20s, when we started in the Shambles, it was...
Go into that, too.
Well, the Shambles was established in 1996, and that's because in 93, my dead homeboy Richard Anthony Falco III, rest in his soul, rest in peace. He brought me to a concert in San Francisco, which was at the Cow Palace, and it was dig this lineup though. Some little known bands from Seattle. One was called Pearl Jam. The other one was called Nirvana, and the other one was called Red Hot Chili Peppers from LA. Yeah, and I was already way.
Oh, they're in Long Beach though, right?
It's down there, Orange County.
Yeah.
So it was, I think they're straight Hollywood, though. They're always singing about fucking Hollywood.
I think it's Long... I could be totally wrong. It could be fucking, like, Gwen Stefani's group that I'm thinking about.
I think they were Long Beach for sure, but anyways, Red Hots I was already into, and I was that was in the late '80s, early '90s. I was into that shit, and they were way more punk rock when they started. Mm-hmm. Always funky, but way more punk rock. And then my buddy on the way to that concert was playing. I already heard a little Pearl Jam, and I was like, this band's fucking sick. You could feel the vibe in the air. You could like almost fucking bite it, you know what I mean, and taste it. And then he was playing me Nirvana on the way up there, and I never heard of him, and I turned to him and I said, this band's gonna be huge. Little bit, the rest is fucking rock and roll history. But that show set for me was like, and the Chili Peppers came out with these helmets and these backpacks and flames shooting off their fucking helmets. And dig the albums 10, Nevermind, and Blood Sugar Sex Magic, all triple, quadruple plat by now. So what a concert. That just set my mind in motion. Like, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to play these kind of gigs. And then a dude named Mike, I'm going to forget his fucking name. Mike Martinez knew and was best friends with Stefan, the guitar player from the Deftones. So he goes, you want to meet the Deftones? And I go, yeah, because I was barely listening to them. They were like almost like a local band because Chi was from Murata. He lived over in Murata and went to and him and I think Chino, both of them went to, I don't know where Chino was living, but they met in high school supposedly, but they all went to Tokay and shit, not the whole Deftones. I might be wrong a little bit, this or that, but Chi, I point over there because I live in Murata. They were in that hood, and I've been to that compound many a times. And because Ming, his brother, the older brother that turned down the Deftones, and that's a funny joke too, because his old lady asked him, because they offered him the job at first to be in the Deftones, and she goes, why didn't you do it? And he goes, I'd be dead. But got his brother into it, and the rest was fucking rock and roll history. And so I forgot my train of thought.
Go back into you, bro. About you.
Well, I got to the shambles. So I met those dudes at a park. It was one of their kids' birthday, or somebody's birthday. I think it was Chee's birthday. And I started partying with them, and then the next thing I know, a week later, he's like, "You want to go to their concert or go hang out with them and watch Korn and 311?" And I forget who else, but like the guitar player from Faith No More was in the back with us, and we're drinking beers with him. You know, the dude with the big old hair, the curls and the big old beard.
From Korn?
No, from Faith No More, the guitar player. He was back there partying. And so Korn, we met all of them, and Jonathan Davis is like NBA tall. Like he was like bending down coming under the door, and he had a full fucking Adidas at that time. Oh, the button, the kind of the ball players use, and it was orange piping and like royal blue, and he had the fucking Patrick Ewings to match. I was like, this dude's sick. And they had the dreads, and then at that time when you hear do-doom, 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 do-doom,
I know that song.
Ready?
Yeah, okay, I know that song.
It was brand new, like that fucking, even at the practice, or when they're sound checking at the start, you got goosebumps.
How old were you?
I had to be like 25.
Alright, so around 25. So before that, let's even go before that, when you're like, and then you're already playing like guitar and stuff and singing.
I got that tape, and then I was like, I always knew I was going to be a singer.
Okay.
Because I didn't really want to take the time to learn to play nothing. I just wanted to scream and yell because I was angry and I was young. And it was in the air in the early 90s. You could just feel something was coming.
Yeah.
And I was in that whole thing. And once I met like Jonathan Davis and met those cats and Fieldy and Head.
And it was just like you wanted to be a part of that lifestyle?
It's like talking to you. I feel like a kindred spirit. I've known you forever, even though
these were your type of people. This was your crowd.
I just knew
I need to be more part of it so I can fit in more.
I go, these are regular dudes, but they're just doing it. So I was like, I got to do it. So I started a band. It was called Running on 3, and that morphed into what would... They left me for a singer that had way more money and he had equipment. And I was poor, didn't have nothing. So the guy that was roadieing for us at the time said, "Hey, if I buy a bass guitar, will you be in my band?" I said, "Fucking A." And that started the Shambles. And then we met another cat, Brian Rosas. The first cat was Aaron Stockton, a dear friend of mine, and then we met Brian Rosas, and then the rest of the guys came in from Brian, and then we started the Shambles. And the Shambles was SHAMBULLS because I raised pit bulls at that time. And so there was always dogs around. There was I even got shot at by the Stockton PD with my dog, and we both survived. And I ended up with the bill.
How did that happen?
We were smoking a blunt in the shack, the infamous shack where the Shambles started on Carlton Avenue off of Mount Diablo there, by the I-5 and by the port and all that. It was a 5 o'clock in the evening, a Sunday in the summer, and we were chilling and barely turned up the stereo because I used to get the cops because of the Shambles practices, and my neighbor fucking hated me. So he must have called them again. So me and 2 other dudes, Jeff Rogers, that owns Quarter Horse Tattoos, was there. We were smoking a skunk blunt, and this other dude named Steve Adada, I have no idea where he is now. I worked with him at Penasco Plumbing's at the time. And we're smoking a blunt. I was on my second Sierra Nevada, and my pit bull, which was called Mama Dog because she was putting out the puppies, simple name, Mama. So anyway, she was sitting in the doorway how she always did, but I seen her perk up and run out the door, and I'm from me to you to her. And I go, oh shit, because I invited some other friends over, so I jump up, to go make sure she ain't gonna bite my friends. And I look out the door, and I'm standing from me to you. I didn't know at the time though, a 16-year fucking vet, the fucking mustache, he looked like fucking Sean Penn right there on Colors, and he's, I'm gonna draw, and I go, I'm not gonna grab her if you're gonna shoot me. So I go, I can grab her if you hold on. And right when I said that, he just started pop, pop, pop under my legs, against the wall of my house, under my legs, over my shoulder. Because the dog, she lunged. So, but as soon as she heard the cracks and felt what she got hit, she went through my legs and ran to I knew she couldn't get out because the alleyway
She got shot.
She got shot. So I go, what did you come here for? I'm getting it. like reliving it again. I go, what did you come here for? And he's like, teen smoking marijuana and loud music. I go, you hear any music? I go, there ain't no fucking teens here and there ain't no weed. But then I was like, fuck, you just lied, because we were smoking it. There was a fat road. So, and imagine what those guys didn't see this happening. They're just hearing all this. Like, it probably still, they're probably fucking got PTSD from it. I know I do. And so I come running out. That ain't the only time I got shot at by the cops. And then my dad shot at me too. But that's a whole nother story. But the so this time, so I went back and got her. She had got shot through the right shoulder, and she was lunging, so it flayed open this leg and went through her left paw. But none of them were mortal wounds, and nothing was.
She didn't die?
No, fuck no. Tough as nails. She was wagging her tail when I ran. I go, you did something. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I petted her, and and then it was like Apocalypse Now or a war movie. I was carrying her all bloody in this blanket. And then by that point, there's 50 fucking cops, because he shot all 16 fucking shots.
Wow, what a pussy, bro.
Jesus Christ. He didn't even have to do that,
cops
dude.
Cops are pussies, bro. Like, cops who do that, bro, like, you're a pussy.
In a 16-year vet, he could have let me grab the dog, pick her up, put her on her chain.
I get it. You want to protect. I don't even want to get the thought of I could get bit by a dog, but at the same time, bro, you're a pussy, bro.
I was punk when he came up, but then I was Mr. Mancuso after that all of a sudden. And they never said shit about that fat skunk roach. It was sitting there as bright as fucking day, and I was like, and they were measuring all the, taking all the shots where he hit the wall, doing the chop marks and all that shit, and taking pictures. And the shack was literally a shack. They were probably thinking like, how the fuck's this dude living? It had graffiti on every wall. It was paradise. You know what I mean? Magazine clippings and artwork. But that was the start of the shambles.
So then around that time was, how old were you? So this is around 2000?
Wow. No, it's before that. That was like 96 or 97.
Okay.
And then things started picking up regionally.
Okay, so here's a question. Here's a question. Like, what is your things in music that you like? Because I got first when you think of Linden country boy, so you're thinking country rock and roll. But then I see and then like think about the way you present yourself and everything. It's not crazy for a country boy to be, or like a guy from Linden or a rural place to have tattoos. Like, think of bikers and stuff, but when you look and pay attention to your tattoos and some of the stuff you have, what I mean, and the things even on your...
There's a lot of hip-hop.
So so you used to listen to a lot of hip-hop back in the day? Or as it was
at that time, I came from the Stockton schools, so there was a culture shock, and it was everybody, black kids, the first Vietnamese kids. Oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
Oh, the first Vietnamese kids that went to school in America after the Vietnam War ended. I was a little baby kid. You know what I mean? So I went to school with the first Vietnamese kids that came to Stockton. They came here. Jimmy Carter sent them here, and so I came from a culturally mixed spot, and then you go out to Linden, it's fucking white. I mean, like, lily white. Except for Mexican workers, families. There was more Mexicans started coming in.
Pretty much first generation.
Yeah. I was there at a time when white people still were picking cherries. Like, they'd come from Oklahoma, and they'd go up to Washington, pick apples.
Those cherries must be expensive.
Oh,
if white people were picking.
No, back then it was...
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, the Okie, the Oklahoma kid, why you have...
I know my rights.
Yeah. In Stockton, that's why you had an influx of Oklahoma people that came here to have a better life. You know what I mean? Just like the Mexican kids that were and families that were coming here to have a better life. And so I seen that whole change though, like where the white people were gone and it was Mexican workers. But then getting back to what we were saying, I forgot my train of thought. I took some kratom. Can you tell? Oh, hip hop. So there's only like 4.
You got kratom on you?
Not on me. I would have gave you.
I never done it.
It's awesome. I love it. I do the train wreck one, so it's all the blends together.
I hear it and see it, and like people put on other podcasts and shit.
Because
do you snort it?
No, I take the pills. I wouldn't recommend snorting it.
I don't know.
You mean how do you get it down your neck? Yeah, I take the pills because it tastes like roots, like dirt. It tastes like shit. I know homeboys that just drink it, and but it's so fine powder. It's like nutmeg. Like I can't get it to mix up, so you end up with these big clumps. Just take the fucking pills. The burp is kind of It's not even that nasty.
Some of those like natural pill things.
It's natural. It's a plant. It's a little tree, a shrub in Indonesia.
Like that shit will break down, and then like
it's good for working out or coming down off of working out.
I took a bunch of different supplements for working out and shit, so I would get what you're saying.
It's all natural. Basically, it's an opiate, so you can get addicted to it, but it's not. They don't know yet, and it has properties that get you up, properties that get you down. I like the down because when I go on spurts where I stop drinking for a while, and I'll take that. Because it makes you feel like you're drunk a little bit, you know, and it gets that craving away. But it's natural and it's good for you. But like my buddy Mike Klooster, the keyboard player from Smash Mouth, says, he goes, well, Coke was natural. At one point it was a leaf, but it ain't Coke. But back to what you were saying, so there was only like 4 black dudes at Linden. And they were from a halfway like house where they had done crime and staying at that place. But of course, like there was only a group of maybe 5 or 6 skateboarders at Linden at that time, and we all gravitated towards each other, and music was the common bond. But they were the first ones that showed me the Beastie Boys, a white fucking hip-hop band, and they were hella into it. And then, of course, you Run DMC and everything after that. So we did a lot of crazy shit with those dudes, and they did a lot of crazy shit with us. I probably thought we were better.
I feel like the Beastie Boys and Eminem are like the one white people who get like a slide from black people.
They do.
Like it's not even like a slide. Like
well, there's a lot of that nowadays where they get a slide.
Yeah, it's different now. But I'm just saying, like those are like the only white people who like I know were like not like a lot of black people like, oh no, I fuck with Beastie Boys. I fuck with Eminem. Well, like, even though I don't listen to their music every day, like I have and I like it. It's cool, and I feel like those are real motherfuckers.
To me, Beastie Boys never lied about who they were. They were white suburban kids that had a little money.
Think about the songs they did. They were just more like
super misogynistic when they started out. They were young guys. You know what I mean? Went on tour with Madonna.
It's like
Giant Penis. Remember all that? They were, but they made up for that shit later on in life and did awesome fucking works. Awesome.
Honestly, I mean, as much as I like,
but Eminem was poor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like black people are like, damn, you had a worse life than me. Like, like you're like, damn, bro.
So there's. I mean, I like how it is now because as long as you're not using the N-word and shit like that, I like how it is now where it could be any color in hip-hop and you can excel and be,
to me, the
have
biggest
an awesome
thing
time.
For me, I mean, I'm younger, and so like the Eminem thing, even when especially it took me till like I was 17, 18 till I first rapped on recorded. I never thought I could. That's why I think I'm so big into like Kanye and like I really appreciate
I like him.
Drake too. Because Kanye to me personally was the first rapper who was the biggest rapper at the time who wasn't a gangster, who wasn't a guy. Think about like Nas. Like even when like Nas, he wasn't a gangster, but he lived it. He was in that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was so in it and respected that people who were gang members had his back. Yeah, had his back, and you know, so he's kind of almost in it. Where Kanye was like, no, I'm wearing pink polos and like I'm talking about God and Jesus and like getting my heart broke.
That Jesus album is bad fucking ass. I'm not. I mean, Jesus is part of Krishna. He was the son of God, but he's not the main Godhead. But anyways. He's the son of God. So the Jesus album, like gospel, I don't know. I did the Jesus. Yeah. The gospel one is fucking sick.
Oh, the gospel one, the newest one.
Oh, it's fucking sick. It's badass. I love that fucking album. I've always liked him. He's a little nutty, politics and all that shit, but he is a genius.
Yeah.
I think
he's a genius. Yeah,
he's bad fucking ass. The clothes are sick. The shoes are sick.
The reason why I think that's the thing, like where I say with the white boys or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's just like it's just with the Kanye thing. It's just like he was the first one who wasn't like I mean he's more like middle class. My mom's a teacher. Yeah, he spent like a couple years in like fucking China or Japan or whatever. You know, he had not a totally privileged life, but like, you know, he could have lived, you know, he could spend
That's a trip he's seen Asia, and so did Obama, remember?
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like people, and like people like that like have a very, you know, expanded perspective and things like that. So like that was like the first, that's why I feel like Kanye's such a big deal, because now it doesn't matter. It doesn't now for Eminem. It doesn't matter your color. It matters what you do or whatever. Yep. Now with Kanye, it's like it don't matter what you are or what you were in the past or what you've been or whatever, nigga. As long as your shit's tight and you're pushing boundaries, then no one gives a fuck.
And creating something new. You know what I mean? And our shit, like Brumby Road ain't shambles. It's not Aquanana.
What would you say Brumby Road is?
Brumby Road is. That Modelo time. It already hit. But the Brumby Road is an accumulation of emotion because we were all fucked up in the last couple of years here with COVID and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's pent up anger, it was pent up emotion, but it was from years of playing hardcore and punk rock and metal, and then Aquanana was way more metal, and so and then I had done a country song too with Mike Klooster. The Calavera Superhighway is basically like the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds and like a country song to me, but I listened to everything. Yeah. So I listened to fucking country from modern pop, which usually sucks, but some of it, there's some gems in it, and all, you know, regular pop, which is all hip hop now, and then like I listen to everything old school, from metal to fucking country to I listen to fucking jazz, a lot of jazz, because I love the time signatures and like how sound is like they're not speaking words, but you can almost hear something. You know what I mean? It's like it takes, like REM sleep to me, like I was talking about earlier, or daydreaming is super important to an artist, I believe, because the daydreaming comes with these ideas, these big ideas, and then you put them down either on a canvas or on a lyrics or in a song structure, and that's why jazz helps to listening to that shit. You know what I mean? Because you think of different structures instead of your verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and then have a fucking solo like somewhere in there and a breakdown. So that's what's up with that, and then if I could keep my train on the tracks, I'd always have the best fucking sayings. Oh, speaking of sayings, you asked me earlier, you said about time, remember? Or what the hell was it? I got here on time, thank God. But no, he wanted to hear a statement, and it was hella funny. We're not going into it naturally, but it's a good one.
Don't call me late for dinner or late for my paycheck.
That's right.
Yeah, bro.
That's right. And that goes in the same chain of thought as, or that generation of workers in construction where you go in the porta potty and it would say, you're reading the wall because everybody's tagging on it. And it would say shit like, here I sit all tired and dirty trying to shit until 3:30. That type of shit. I don't know. Dudes have too much fucking time. Yeah, they're wasting the last 20 minutes in the bathroom.
All right, so let's go. So this is where this is where you can keep your train on the tracks, because let's just try to keep it towards you right now, because I'm trying to figure out you too. You know?
All right.
I'm getting to know you a little bit on what you've seen and what you think of. But, okay, so you said you came from the west part of Stockton, right? Where you were born from in that area? Right?
I was born in the county hospital. Okay. And then we lived in my dad's beauty salon. He was a beautician for 22 years. So at first we lived in a camper. Then we lived in the beauty salon.
And then you moved to Linden.
No, then we moved to the west side, to Carlton, the shack. It wasn't a shack. We turned it into a shack, me and my brothers. Then we moved to Waterloo.
Okay.
So technically Brumby Road is the road we lived on. It is the road we lived on. It's still there, and that's Waterloo. Yeah. So it's actually quite a ways from Linden. Linden's out east more. Yeah. And quite a few miles from there. So it was Waterloo that we actually moved to. Yeah. And that was a cultural shock, like I told you. So I should have been, after high school, I should have been a rapper. Yeah. But in hardcore, there's a fine line of, like, sometimes dudes are rapping, but they got metal guitars and everything else. Danny Diablo comes to mind, because he's a hardcore kid, but he's rapping, you know what I mean? He has straight rap albums. I'll send you some stuff. He has straight rap albums. He was a part of a tagging crew, famous one back then, DMS, and he's just a great artist. He's my age too, which is rad. So it's like a dude my age that I look to as a hero. Like I met him before. I did a painting of him for him. And
so you were doing what did you say? Brumby Road is now, and that was just made.
Oh, and Brumby Road, we didn't say what it was. It's basically rock and roll, blues based rock and roll.
Yeah, that's what I would say. There's a little. I would say. I mean, just from that song from what I think Aaron filmed, that music video.
Well, that's not Brumby Road. That's a metal band. That was Aquanana. So you haven't seen it. We haven't made a film yet.
No, that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay. Aquanana was.
That's what I'm saying, because Brumby Road's just made now recently.
Yeah, that's a newer band, but it actually was supposed to be what Aquanana became. Like before, we were starting Brumby Road, because it was dudes from other bands that were sister bands to the Shambles. Like Slumlord was our sister band. We practiced in the same places and everything. So it was dudes from Slumlord and from Scapegoat, a Manteca band, that we got together, and then our old drummer from the Shambles, Brad, was part of Slumlord too. We started working with him when we were starting this acoustic band, Brumby Road, and it turned into Aquanana. So it got way more metal.
And how long was Aquanana a thing?
Well, like a couple years. Okay. But we were remote recording because Brad and the bass player lived in Reading, and we were here. Yeah. So that was kind of...
That's not too far. Though.
No, but it's far enough where you ain't playing live shows.
Really?
We could record awesome because of the technology now, but it was like, it was, we weren't playing. It's like almost 3 hours to go over there, and it's...
To Reading?
Yeah, it's 2-something. 2:45 or something like that. But
it's a show.
I don't know. We just never played live. Yeah. So then we started when there was some down period after it was kind of ran its course, because that happens sometimes. Bands will just do like a year or two thing, and we weren't playing live. We wanted to play live, so we were like, let's do Brumby Road like how we were going to do at the start. So acoustically, it started out acoustic. Then we got a drummer, but the drummer don't play no cymbals. We only have the hi-hat and just the drums, actual drums, and we wanted that sound to get the vocal more powerful and to have the guitar riff, but we didn't want, like, eventually there'll be some big leads and shit like that, but the Lorenzo, the dude playing guitar, he's a metal dude. He wasn't really a lead dude. So maybe eventually we'll have a lead dude with us too, or he'll morph. You know, this unit we got is the best unit I've ever had, period.
You have a really good band.
Ego-wise, and we just get along. We love each other. We're older. We know our time is short or whatever. However you want to say it. We want to put out art.
So is around, everybody in the band, I'm guessing, is around you guys'
age? The drummer's 60.
Oh, shit. Damn.
But he's got, he's got that attitude. You know, like the Bad Brain said, I got that attitude.
So how do you feel like being at this age and still, like, you still love it and this is just cool and like what you're doing?
I lived in San Francisco for 6 years where I didn't do music.
Yeah.
And I felt something was missing the whole time.
What made you move to San Francisco?
Well, that's a long story. I had worked for the county mosquito abatement and vector control for 12 years. I had a career. 12 years I was there. And I got a DUI off of work. Blew one over, one under. They wouldn't give me a wet and reckless. They could have. I still would have probably been working there, and we wouldn't even be talking right now. Yeah. But then I went to hair school because my dad went to hair. You know what I mean? Did hair for 22 years. My aunt that owns the Waterloo, California, she's passed away too. Rest her soul, Betty. But she was a hairdresser. Like everybody in my family were hairdressers because Uncle Tommy taught everybody how to be hairdressers. So, anyways,
is that why your beard's like that?
I go to a barber like once a week, and my eyebrows, and I shave my head.
Well, I already assume that you have to get haircuts pretty recently. Your eyebrows cut like that.
I like my eyebrows notched ever since, I don't know, Nas and Jay-Z, you know.
I did it a few times. Mine was Bow Wow. Oh,
Bow Wow had his notched.
Yeah.
It's a hip-hop.
People thought I was little Bow Wow when I was in 6th grade. It was tight.
Wow. That is tight. But, ever since... I was a little kid, I always liked that shit. And I don't have no hair on top, so the beard grows good. I didn't realize it did grow that good. I do all the same shit as you, the oils and all that shit. I ain't dyeing it or nothing, but...
I would keep a gray beard. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why people do that, bro.
Like Wu-Tang, like they're my age, but then their beards are like super black, and you're like, come on, man.
Well, that's a black thing, though.
Well, I know that too. That's fine. A lot of
black people will do that.
I know, but you're still denying what it is, and it's like, I've seen black dudes with hella white ass beards and gray beards. It looks cool. I like beards, and once mine grew in full, and I was like, man, I got a fucking dope beard. I started taking care of it. You know what I mean? The oils and the
first I really don't want to, but like the thing is though, bro, like see,
there's nothing in it today.
Right now I'm going out later, so I'll do it later. But
I might do it for the show.
I'm sorry I didn't do it for you, but
I ain't tripping.
10% gay. But anyway,
I think more men should compliment each other and be nice to each other and say, hey, you're handsome. Like, what the fuck's wrong with that? Society got...
Because I ain't gay, bro.
That's right.
I ain't no faggot, bro. I don't suck dick, bro. That's what them other people do, bro. I'm a man.
Yep.
I hide my feelings, dog. I suppress that shit, dog.
But it is. You're right. They're suppressing something.
You sit too close, fam.
Usually it's like a person that really they might be gay. You know what I mean? Like, why?
I'll never think about sucking dick.
Why are they so angry?
I would never want someone to put their finger fucking 2-3 knuckles deep in my asshole.
You sure?
I don't contemplate doing it myself. But anyway.
But no, men should compliment each other more and be nicer to each other. I think it would get rid of a lot of stress and violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe even release some nuts from each other.
You never know how gay. They're only as gay as you'll let them be.
I don't get. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I was just trying to be clever. Yeah. Usually clever sucks when you try to be clever.
Yeah, it's always clever when you're not trying to be clever.
But anyways, what the fuck were we talking about? Art, music, and painting. We didn't talk about painting.
Okay, we'll get to painting after.
Right.
Okay, so if you're going to throw a 50,000 person concert, 50,000 people, and you have 5 spots to throw a show, dead or alive.
Yeah.
It could be you as well, but that will take one of your spots. Who are these 5 people?
5 bands or whatever?
It doesn't matter, dead or alive, 50,000 people.
Well, my band, Brumby Road, of course.
Okay.
Danzig's still alive, so Danzig. Nirvana, of course, with Kurt alive. DMX alive.
Oh, nice.
Where are we? 5?
That was 4, I think. You said your group. You said, what did you, the D?
Danzig.
And then you said Nirvana and
DMX.
And then you got one more.
Fuck, I'd have to say Beasties.
Beastie Boys.
That would be rad. And have
the whole group.
Yeah, what you call Be Back Alive.
Yeah.
Fuck, now we're doing him a distance.
What's your favorite DMX song?
DMX? I always like to Get At Me Dog, because the one where he goes, Get At Me Dog.
Yeah.
Just because that always sounds funny to me for some reason. It makes me laugh. But what was the first one? The first big hit, the one where he's in black and white and like almost like negative, and he's on that stage and he's had the chain and just the overalls, no shirt, and he had the bandana. God, what the hell was that song? It was hella powerful. It might have been the one where he sings, of course, Get At Me Dog.
It might be Get At Me Dog. I don't know. My favorite one's the Rough Riders anthem, but that's newer. But that was my.
That's when he was.
My baseball team. He was so big that my travel baseball team, we named ourselves the Rough Riders because that's how big and like. So every day, every game, every time we played a game, like 5 minutes before we get to the field, put that DMX on, and we just stop. Drop.
Yeah, so good. So yeah, DMX was a good one.
10, 11-year-old
And he had
kids.
a crazy fucking violent life that I can kind of identify with in a little bit ways. Yeah. And then he also drugs, alcohol, and I've dealt with all that.
Have you done all the drugs?
Pretty much, except for heroin.
Heroin? I haven't done heroin.
I've done opiates enough to be considered a heroin addict.
Heroin, meth, and crack I have not done.
That sucks. I never liked it. Every once in a while I bump a coke, because everywhere you go, like when I lived in San Francisco, every fucking bar when you're off of work and at work, everybody was on coke.
Yeah.
But nowadays with fentanyl, it's too scary.
It's scary, yeah.
But I liked it a little coke now and again, every once in a while when you're out, not performing or nothing, or painting, but
you're chasing an empty high.
Yeah, you keep wanting to get that high again, and you can't. It's the same as booze. Like you're only gonna get buzzed and drunk at one point in the night.
Because the thing is,
you can get more hammered, but you're never gonna feel as good as that first beer.
You're not wrong. What I'm saying is, with beer though, I'm more like trying to knock myself out. It's almost like it's like, you know what I mean?
I don't like that feeling.
Like I'm like it's about time to go to bed. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you could be up for a day. You know what I mean?
But crank's worse. That's why you see it, and then you mix in a little mental illness, and that's why you got homeless and everything else. A lot of them are mentally ill, then they stay up on drugs. Of course you're going to see more crazier shit.
My cousin's literally by the government, is schizophrenic, supported by the government, and he took a bad fucking, whatever. His homie died and shit, and now he has PTSD from it and shit, or whatever it is. Trauma, all that shit. And he's, ever since he was, he's 20, he's 40.
It happens in your 20s though, usually. If you're going to get schizophrenia.
He's probably 20 years old, and for the last 20 years that I've known him.
Nuts.
Yeah. Burned his arm on fire. Fucking
it sucks. Well, the reason I was telling you earlier,
Shout out Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry, what's happening? Get better, fool. But the reason I was, it makes sense. I was telling you off camera about that show I'm going to do in the new year in 2022, and it's to help homeless and bring awareness and actually make real change that people can see.
Okay, this is a stupid question.
What?
Were you ever homeless or something?
I've been homeless.
Okay.
So it a time or 3. So it was, never really where I had to live in the street, but parts of the channels had to live in the streets during our history, so I'm no stranger to none of it. But I've had some times where we didn't know when I got back from San Francisco, we had no money. And we had no place to stay. Some friends let us couch surf for a minute, and then
that's what you meant by homeless. Like I didn't have my own place.
But it's scary when you don't have that net under you. There was no net, you know what I mean? So it was scary. And that, and then never being rich or having tons of money, it's like, and trying to be an artist, you know what I mean? You're always scared, like, well, is that going to pay the bills, or is this going to pay the bills? You just got to make the art no matter what. But I had, in hardcore, get back to hardcore, punk rock was always saying something and screaming about something, but it didn't seem like nobody was ever getting something done. But in hardcore, I seen people getting shit done. Like helping the homeless, feeding people, doing all kinds of good shit for their communities. And so the Shambles took that seriously. So when we joined the anti-racist movement was the first thing we did, and then, well, that was the second thing we did. The first thing we were trying to do was get the skate park built, because the city of Stockton back in the late 90s, early 00s did not want to build a skate park. They thought graffiti, kids drinking, and all the shit that does happen there. But it's like, the kids needed a fucking skate park.
No matter what.
Let them have something positive and something awesome. And so us and a bunch of skaters from town, and we put the pressure on the politicians through the media back then, and they built a fucking, and we raised the money through the Weber Point. We had, 2,000, 3,000 people shows at Weber Point, like the first shows that were played there. And Shambles sold out along with Doja Click, we sold out the Civic Auditorium twice. Oh, really? Because the cops stopped the first show, and then we sold it out again. Oh, really? We're the only local artists that I know of in the last 20-something years that ever did that.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
Shout out to Doja and Duran and everybody and Peabody and all them fools. It was a golden era, because we were, there'd be a rap band, a rock band, a punk band.
Yeah, there was that. I remember that.
It was awesome.
Right around 2008-ish, when I was graduating high school, that was the big thing. It would be like hardcore, punk rock, and rap shows together, and a lot of these places like that.
It was super fun.
What was that one place over off? Was it Channel Street, or where the fuck was it? Over by the movie theater, over where
we used to practice on
Channel
Baker right there.
That one place. There's a big old place.
Oh, venue?
Yeah.
Oh, Plea for Peace.
Yeah,
Shout out to Meta.
Plea for Peace was real big.
Yeah, there were a lot of hardcore bands.
A lot of hardcore
and hip hop bands.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the big thing for a while.
That was we played there one time. That was your era for sure.
That was my era, where I was just like, oh shit.
That was a fun place.
Where my one homie, actually, that I grew up with, he actually had a show, and I was just like, you're coming to Plea for Peace? He's like, for some reason, they were doing a tour in California, and they're like,
awesome.
bro. They're like, yeah, bro, I guess this is like one of the spots where fucking...
It was. Meta was really good at getting bands from other states and everything. You know what I mean? That were into either...
I was so shocked. I was like, damn, you have like a little record deal right now, and they're telling you one of the spots you need to hit up is in Stockton. Yeah.
There used to be the what was the Army Veterans Hall on West Lane there in Alpine. That Veterans Hall used to throw a lot of shows, and they had a bar, so we were old enough to go drink in that bar and then play our show or drink there after. But we had a touring band too. We didn't go out of state, but we went all the way down to Hemet, California, played some huge shows, and then we went up into Reno and Tahoe. So maybe we did get out of the state one time, but regionally and locally, we were known in the Bay and everywhere.
People are so surprised on how much I've opened up for some pretty big names and stuff too.
Awesome!
And it just was so funny to me how easy it was, but not it wasn't it was super easy, because you still had to have somewhat, not a name, but you just had to, the skill had to be there.
Mm-hmm. And you had to command enough audience, because they want your fans too. So
it was the fans thing, but it was also just because the dude who because I didn't do it myself, and they asked me to. It was this one guy who was
promoter or manager.
It was this one guy who this was in Indiana, by the way.
Oh, trip!
It was actually I was on the border of Indiana and Kentucky. It's New Albany, Indiana. There was this one guy, he was younger than me, but he was actually paying to get on these major shows. So whenever a mainstream, so
pay for play?
Pay to play. Yeah, so it would be MGK or some rapper or something.
They were charging everybody to play with them?
The bar would.
Oh, the bar would.
So the bar would go,
that happens in SAC and in LA.
Yeah, because you'll have there's Dizzy Wright or Ritz, a rapper, somebody who's pretty known but not the biggest, whatever.
Yes, exactly. Regionally.
Yeah, regionally, so this is when MGK just came out, right, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was tripping out on the difference of like the artistry and stuff too, because like a lot of the other ones, like you go, they do their sound check, everyone can go in and out the bar, it's no big deal. When MGK came, right? When we got there, we're coming early. We're trying to come to sound check, right?
Yeah.
Fucking
vibe went up.
Oh my god, bro. This whole parking lot was packed. People had fucking signs.
He's a major figure.
And I'm like, and this, mind you, this is like 8 years ago for sure.
Yeah.
This is like 8 years ago.
Not too long ago.
And fucking,
not even a decade.
Yeah, and fucking people were going crazy, and we're like, yo, this is not like any other show. We couldn't even go do our own sound check because he fucked up their whole stage. Not like fucked it up, but he added onto the stage.
Oh, wow.
Added more. He even used their equipment.
Yeah.
He fucking added more shit. It was just way more security. It was way more, and I'm like, I'm open. And we were the act right before him.
Oh, that's so rad.
It was so crazy, bro. And I was just like, bro, performed in front of, it was hundreds of people in there, and I was like, and this is what tripped me out. I'm like, bro, I'm nobody, and because this guy paid, and we didn't pay because he would just give us the tickets and we would sell like a certain amount of tickets, and then he would just.
Speaking of, I brought you tickets. I don't know what you're doing tonight, but
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, here's 4 of them. You take that.
I'll take 2, bro. I don't want to take all your tickets.
Well, you can give a couple more people to get in. I don't know.
What time is it at?
It's not till like we're playing at like 10. Yeah, it's over on the waterfront at the waterfront warehouse. It's a.
I'll put my.
This is gonna air after it, but the show is gonna be historic because it's Brumby Road's first show.
I'm having a weird day because I just took my dad to the airport. The house is to myself.
Trip.
I'm having a visitor come over here.
All right, I know what you mean.
And we're gonna go out. You know, we're more of like friends at the moment, so we're just gonna go out to like random places and random things. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna play at like 10:30 or 10:45.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm going to the thing. I'm going to the garden party. It's 4 to 10. That's
over there.
Hatch Workshop. It's gonna be downtown right there on there.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. So like it's not like I wouldn't go. It's just like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like I told other people. There's one guy. He's throwing a pool party.
Well, I'm not tripping. I remember. I'm just letting you know. But that was an awesome thing with MGK because we got to open up for Tommy Lee, and he had a way different thing because he didn't have a bunch of security, but it was a trip because the sheriffs was so crazy about if girls showed their tits. It was at the Manassas A's Field.
Well, it's Tommy Lee, bro. You know Tommy.
I said, how are they not going to show their fucking titties? Misogynistic or not,
bro,
but
I'm about to show my dick, bro. Like,
he had to say like. Oh, it was a big old fucking deal. Like, everybody was trying to get all the girls to show their tits, but I can't remember if anybody did. They did, and nothing happened. Like, the sheriff didn't flip out or nothing. And, But I was going to tell you, too, we opened up for Souls of Mischief, too. That was an awesome honor. I mean, Tommy Lee was cool, but it was like, I wasn't totally into him or Motley Crue. I liked it early Motley Crue when I was a kid, but I was, all right, Tommy Lee. My drummer loved him at the time. But Souls of Mischief, though, me and my guitar player were bugging.
Same thing with me. I feel the same way. Tommy Lee, like, because I'm not so much a fan of the music, but I'm so much more. He's
awesome,
as an entity of a person. Love him. You know what I mean? But Souls of Mischief is like, yo, bro. At one time, I worshipped you guys for like a little.
It was because they were like close to our age, so it was they were doing their thing and we were doing ours. That was just a rad fucking feeling, and like. I mean, the list goes on, like Agent Orange. There was a bunch of bands we got to open for. There wasn't, per se, that pay to play unless you went to L.A. Like the Troubadour or any of them ones. You had to, like, tickets, basically. You're paying to play.
I hate doing
SAC, I think, still at certain venues may do that. I think that's like Ace of Spades, but there's venues, though, Colonial and other places where you don't have to do that kind of shit.
I hate doing that just because every time I've done
tickets
it, the 2-3 times, like, the ticket thing or whatever, but then it's, the thing is that I hate, I'll go to the show and I'm performing first because I only sold like 10, 20 tickets.
Yeah.
And then the person performing after me literally he sold a bunch, and he has the weakest fucking show in the world, and I'm not trying to be a hater. It's literally like him on stage, the music's going with his words, and he's barely saying it. It's not like he's just because everybody's all vibe. Like people are literally just standing around. I'm like, y'all all bought tickets from this one dude, and he sucks. And I'm like, I don't like this shit. I almost got in a fight with a security guard and the guy running the show. Wow. This nigga tried to fucking scoop me up all the way at the beginning. He's like talking about like, oh, you only sold like 15 tickets. This guy, da 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 da. I go, people are showing up late. People are breaching contract, and you're fucking trying to play. I go, bro, we can have a problem right now. He tried to have the security guard. I go, fuck, bring that motherfucker on, bro. Because I just don't. Every time I get in that situation, I go. When I bring many of them. Yeah, when I bring it up to you at first politely, and you want to try to play me, I'm like, oh, we're about to fight right now, bro. Like, I'm like,
have some fucking respect and
if you're not gonna accept my fucking demands right now, we're gonna fight right now, and I'm gonna take your money. So fuck you. Like, it's on principle, because like a lot of those guys, bro, are just shiesty, bro.
Oh yeah, way before Diaz did the Stockton slap, and I love him. He's from that hood I'm in Verado over there. Yeah. And I remember seeing illegal fights when he was young cat.
Yeah.
And their ears were already cauliflower. He was only like fucking 20 years old. They were young. Oh, no shit?
Not really, but
those fights were...
people I knew.
Like the cops came and the fire department would break those fights up like we were lighting the world on fire or something. But they were just illegal fights, underground fights. But the way before that Stockton slap became the Stockton slap, we were slapping fools left and right back in the day. Because back then there was no intronet, so if you heard about people talking shit or being shitty... Intronet. I invented that word.
Intronet. Keep going.
Anyway, the interweb. I always liked it, the interweb. Okay. Anyways, so you'd hear about shit talking, and when you finally catch up, it was like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Get some. You want to talk some shit face to face?
You slap a man. I'm like, yeah.
No, it's the best.
It's disrespect, bro.
It's one thing to punch a deeper message.
Like, but it's almost because like you slap me because you know I could fuck you up right now, but I'm just gonna slap you, make you look stupid. Because you rather almost get hit and like, oh, I'm hurt, than like, you know no one's gonna feel bad because you got slapped.
Yeah, or a TKO.
If you got knocked out, people be like, oh, damn, that's fucked up. You got slapped, they're like, damn, bro, you probably fucked over
this.
You're a bitch. Yeah, you're a bitch, bro. You got slapped.
My dad taught me that young. He said, you send a deeper message if you slap a fool instead of punching.
Yeah, bro.
Because then they're a bitch.
You kind of stun them. If you slap someone, you
stun the fuck out of them. Like, they're like, whoa, I just got slapped. And it hurts if you do it right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It stings. And they're awake and they're still like dealing with you. You know what I mean? Either they're gonna kick your ass, and usually they never did. Like they were always, even if they were bigger than me, I slapped the shit out of them. And they're like, oh, I better not mess with this dude. He'll probably beat me up. Because usually they're chicken shit. That's why they're talking hella shit. I don't talk no shit. I only talk shit that I know I can actually fucking deal with. Fuck the world, you know what I mean? Fuck all that bullshit. But anyhow, we never talked about fine art, contemporary painting.
Yeah, let's go into fine art, and I'll ask you.
And maybe you could edit all this shit in like later, the paintings or whatever. I don't know. I sent you some. Anyhow.
No, yeah. But go ahead and go into art, and then I'll ask you one question. We'll close it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I do fine art.
You are a very good painter too. You sent me some of your stuff.
Thank you. And I'm gonna hook you up. I just forgot today.
Damn, that would be cool to add to my
no, you'll get it here. You'll get it. I got one for you. But that's what I do almost daily. That is like my main thing. During COVID, I made hella fucking money off of painting.
Oh, really?
Because everybody was home bored as fuck on their fucking phones. Mm-hmm. So I just killed it. You know what I mean? And then I've been painting since 2nd grade. I won a grand prize in the 2nd grade for painting a dog for Humane Society Week or whatever.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Painted a dope-ass pit bull.
That's what's up.
I was always into him. And then the Shambles symbol was a pit bull with horns and a star. But so I won that, and by winning that grand prize of it, I got to go in front of the board of supervisors at Stockton, meet all this. I didn't know who the fuck they were. I was like fucking 7 years old. But then part of the prize was I won 3 months, I think it was. It might have been a month, but when you're a little kid, it seemed like a year.
Yeah.
But I think it was 3 months at UOP.
Yeah.
So the University of Pacific, I got taught basics in art. So I got taught, and you're going to like the end of this, because I got taught stippling, crosshatch, oil painting, watercolors, pencil art, all the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And fundamentals. Yeah. So I soaked it up quick, and I was drawing. It shot me, my ego and everything, to the moon. Right then I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I'm going to be, an artist. And then when I get to high school, I flunked art all 4 years.
Oh, really?
Of high school. Drugs. I didn't give a fuck. And I told the teacher the first year, and at Linden you got the same teacher for like 4 years in art. I'm not gonna say his name. Everybody knows who it is. Yeah. But I don't want to get sued or something. He wasn't an asshole, but we didn't get along.
Fuck that fool.
And I told him I learned all this shit. Can I do some advanced shit or like do my own shit, and he's no, you gotta stay with the structure. He was doing what he had to do.
That's what I got fucked up.
But so I was like, fuck you. I painted better shit on my folder for art class than I ever did in the class, and I'm still a badass painter.
I feel them on that argument because like you see that little watercolor right there next to you.
Yes.
I made that when I was.
Tight.
I made that in 2nd grade.
Yeah.
So like.
How old were you then in second grade? 7?
Like, yeah, I was really young.
That's the same year I won the grand prize in 2nd grade.
Yeah, my teacher was so shocked in that she like wrote a note to my parents and be like, yo, he had like the best one. And like I'm not, even to this day I don't really do any type
It looks like you did a face too right here.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I did do a face. And like the teacher was tripped out like that I did this. And I'm in 2nd grade, mind you, right? Yeah. And they framed it and everything. But behind that is a self-portrait where we had there's a bunch of things.
On the flip side of that?
I did another one. That was when I did it in college. It's in the inside of it. And it's a self-portrait. And almost everything I did in this art class that everybody in the class liked, the art teacher was like, you didn't stick to the rules. You didn't stick into the thing.
Oh, so you know how I feel
everything I got was like a C or a D. And I'm like, but everybody in the class, we'd vote in class like who had the top 3. I'd be almost in the top 5, top 3 every time because like people were like, yo, this was tight or like this was, and every time he would give me a fucked up grade because he was just like,
wow, same thing then? Yeah, you can identify.
Those art teachers, and then so like when I got my report card for that year, my transcript or whatever the fucking shit is called, I got my grades and I'm like, someone gave me a D, so I'm thinking it's this one.
I flunked all 4 years. I thought it's a badge of honor, really, as an artist.
I thought my philosophy teacher gave me a D, or one of my major classes gave me a D because I was a sports player and shit or whatever, and I'm like, they fucked with me. Yeah. And it was this fucking art teacher, and I'm like, are you, bro? I take fucking crazy ass. I take like fucking like I don't even know the fucking. I take
you tried.
I take pre-calculus.
Yeah.
I take pre-calculus, bro. I took art to get a fucking easy grade, bro. And I showed up and did all my shit. And I did all the work. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? But because I think it was because he was.
I didn't do shit.
I thought because I really think because he was an artist and I was a jock. And I don't think he liked that
he
shit.
used that like.
I think he did because.
That's not racism. What do you call that? That's
whatever. Yeah, it wasn't.
Or what is that? Anyway.
Yeah, but I think he didn't like that because I was like a jock though. Because that was a big thing.
I was a punk.
There was a lot of teachers who didn't like me.
I was doing drugs and partying. I could see why he didn't like me.
A lot of them knew I was smoking weed too.
Because the jock dudes, ironically, in that class were the ones that got the better grades. Yeah. Because he liked them. I don't know why. They tried harder. They were actually good artists, but I mean, they weren't as fucking good as me.
I met a lot of teachers who didn't like me because I was just overall cooler than them. And the thing is, the teachers who were usually...
Welcome to the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I could tell, like, they were just didn't like how, like, yo, no matter what you do in life, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be cooler and happier than you. Because you suck. You suck. You can't even appreciate your life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I learned that at a very young age. It was
Make this pact then. Right now, we're making a pact that if me or you ever become an art teacher, we ain't gonna be that teacher.
I'll never become an art teacher.
We gotta be cool art teachers that teach their kids. If it ever happened, it could.
You could.
But what I'm saying is, I'm gonna let them do whatever the fuck they want. Because if you let like Kanye, when he's a little kid or whatever, do it whatever the fuck he wants, he's gonna become Kanye. You don't want him to not become Kanye. I want him to all be Kanye.
Let him talk about Trump as long as I get a new album.
Oh, I didn't give a fuck about
you vote for Trump, nigga, but give me Donda.
Well, exactly. Where is Donda?
Give a fuck.
Where is Donda? And give me a free pair of shoes and the whole wardrobe.
Donda and Drake's album.
Crew neck sweater.
Donda and Drake are coming out next Friday.
Drake, I've never been the hugest fan, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I remember when he was on, was it Degrassi Junior High or whatever? I remember that shit. Yeah. That was way the fuck back.
Alright, well, I think we had a good conversation. I definitely want to have you on here again.
Alright.
I do want to leave you here to speak.
After the album gets done.
What? Your album?
The Brumby Road album.
Brumby Road,
then I'll give you a copy of that, and I'll give you some.
And then you can come out, and promote it.
But we can hang out other times, too.
Oh, yeah, no.
Now that we know each other.
But I do want you to leave something with the people of, like, what's to come, or any positive words, even negative words if you want to. I don't care.
No, I got something. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I try. If the river was whiskey, I'd never run dry. If the river was whiskey and I was a duck, quack, quack, I'd swim to the bottom and never come up.
Hey, bro, we gotta live on that, bro. On that, bro. Bow! Bow!
Yeah. And the fine art, you can find me on Instagram, Ernest Mancuso, or Ernest Mancuso on Facebook. I got a TikTok, I gotta set it up. But you can get artwork from me and see the shows, the Brumby Road stuff. I'll be posting shit for shows all the time, so I'm back active and I'm after it, and I'm gonna kill it and fuck everybody.
Hey, bro. Yee!
Yep. Oh, Price Ellis.
Oh, we ain't gonna do that.
I love you, dudes.
Oh, bro, we're like right at an hour.
I came to the drugs that I want, yeah. And I keep drinking the bars I used them on, yeah. I can't worship the God that I need, and I can't get it up. And the talking speed, yeah.